welcome to today's stream. As I'm recording this, it is my birthday. Woo! I am the big 2-7 this year. So, to celebrate, I decided to stream one of my favorite games so far, and it'll be the finale of the game, and that is Scene Investigators. So I hope you enjoy today's stream. If you do, I would appreciate a like, a comment, or a subscription to the channel. You know, all the things YouTube has you do. But I hope you guys enjoy this here stream, and I appreciate you for watching. See ya in a sec. Let's hop on into this case.
Welcome back. Which case file would you like to tackle?
The Hughes Manor feud, which is
William
apparently
Hughes
3 stars
Manners feud.
of difficulty. So, as if I wasn't already struggling with the other ones, this will be interesting to say the least. Well, once it loads. I hope everyone's had a good day, a good Friday. Mine was a bit hectic, but you know.
Voting complete. Good luck.
Okay. The accomplished CEO of a successful real estate firm passed away, and a somber wake took place at his house. Just a few hours after the mourners dispersed, another tragedy occurred, prompting a frantic call to the police. Piece together the events that unfolded and discover what happened. One second, sorry. Okay. Well, all right. This. Oh, there goes my mouse being weird again. Okay, I can't access the outside, but it looks like a body was dragged out there. Frick. Um, okay, well. Oh, we have audio files. Okay. This phone was found in the suit pocket of the body in the second floor. These are notes from a police officer who responded to the scene. Unknown victim, male, white body, black suit, black dress pants, black tie, dirt on underside of body, as if body was dragged, covered in blood. Bullet wound to his midline forehead. Dang. Right hand ring finger had pinky finger looked twisted. Okay. Under suit sleeve, scratch marks on hand and arms. Witness Lorraine Brayton. Around 5:30 p.m., saw a car drive out of mansion property. Unknown driver, red sedan, headed eastbound from scene. I observed that there is no red sedan in the lot. The phone will get to when okay. I'll miss you, Dad. Aww. Call me. Need someone to supervise a business contract. Lord. Okay. Meet with the district attorney. I'm only told that he wants to charge the Holt kid, even though he's a minor. No, tell him it's not likely to move forward. Dinner with Joseph Michaels, 3 p.m. Dad left sniper at the log cabin. Retrieve it. Make sure to drive down next week and return it to him. District attorney appointed me as the prosecutor for Barley Davidson's case. Kyle Santino should have the initial files ready by 2 p.m. Call Daniel Riley. Ruby's the name of the little girl. Dad died. Cancel this week. Call Valerie when home. Won't be good to see Ruby. Call Felix for update. Just clear out next week too. Oh, missing. Samuel Hughes. Harmony. We'll look at that in a second. Keep Roger from drinking too much. Damian Goodman, James Goodman's son, is allergic to strawberries. Make sure he doesn't get any. Philip Braxton has slight lactose intolerance. How do you have slight lactose intolerance? Evelyn Fletcher, Joshua Fletcher's mother, has early onset dementia. Alert Joshua in case anything happens. Roman's son is allergic to nuts. Remember William Riverside. Do you remember to prepare your speech by Friday? We will start preparing for the toast at 11. Hope that you can be here early to help. Yeah. Hey, Felix. I'll be back at 2. Got some things to do. I see. Well, see you then. I will be away for an hour or two to do some errands. Do let me know if you need anything. Did you hear that shit during the speeches? Man, I'm sick of his attitude. So the plan is still in action, right? What plan? All three of us agree that he needs to be put in his place, right? No way, I'm stopping now. We need to do it today. I can already imagine the dirt on his face when I pull up the pause. I read that all sorts of wrong. I can already imagine the look on his face when I pull up the dirt on him. Can't believe we're going to do this. You know my son looks up to you. I'm sure he does. Whoever's phone this is, I do not like their energy. Oh, and then their messages were deleted. I bet you they were incriminating. Okay, we got everything in the foyer. Um, let's listen to these audio files. Oh, thank God they give us a transcription of it, but we'll play it.
What was the event about?
We held a gathering to honor the late Gordon Hughes at his mansion. His 4 sons each gave a eulogy. Food and wine was served. Then his will was shown, revealed to his 4 children. If you wish to see them as evidence, we have provided the recorded audio tapes and a copy of the will.
Where were you at the...
Is audio fine? Are you guys able to hear? I'm like, because I can bump it up if need be.
time of the crime?
After all the guests left, I cleaned all the mess they had left behind. After that, I had to go run some errands. Here are the receipts of what I had to buy.
Do you have any suspicions of who did it?
I don't want to believe any of them did it. I've known them since they were so young. But I also know that it couldn't have been any of the guests, as I've personally watched them all leave before I started cleaning. Also, the sons were all in the house as I left.
I feel like the butler's voice was just so low. Okay. Recording of the eulogies.
Welcome. We've gathered here today.
Okay, hold on. Let me fix that then. I had to bump the audio in my headphones too. But I can bump the game audio. Go 85 and then um
Welcome. We've gathered here today to honor the late Gordon Hughes.
how does that sound? Voice one is definitely the butler because it matches with his voice here.
The late Gordon Hughes at his mansion. His 4 sons each gave a eulogy. Food and wine was served.
His voice is just so low. Why is it? It feels like it's just his voice because the clicks and the police officer's voice. And it, I just bumped the game audio all the way down. Did not mean to do that. Trying to click it to bump it up. We're gonna bump it up a little bit on OBS just so I don't have to raise it too loud in my ears. But I hope that's a little bit better too. Okay. It's just this dang butler.
Then his will was shown, revealed to his 4 children. If you wish to see them as evidence, we have provided the recorded audio tapes and a copy of the will.
Where were you at the time of the crime?
After all the guests left, I cleaned all the mess they had left behind. After that, I had to go run some errands. Here are the receipts of what I had to buy.
Do you have any suspicions of who did it?
I will say, my neurodivergent senses are tingling and the police officer's voice sounds familiar. I don't know where or how, but it does. This dang butler, though, he just talks so soft because the police officer is loud and clear. I'm sure it's because of, like, you know, the accent or whatever he's putting on, but it's like really, really hard to hear. Okay.
Welcome. We've gathered here today to honor the late Golden Hughes. He was a dear friend and a dear father. We'll start our presentation of the eulogies with the successor of Gordon's company, Jonathan Reed. If you could stand up here.
Okay, so Jonathan goes first.
Gordon was never just my boss. Over the
His
time I
voice
was given
sounds
to know
familiar,
him,
too.
he became one of my closest friends and the greatest teacher I've had. When I was young, I lived like trash. I was down on my luck and penniless. Gordon hired me, gave me a chance, and told me how to conduct myself. The position I have today is because of him, and there's nothing I can do to express the gratitude I feel. Gordon's own path was also similar, though with different starting points. He had to struggle to make his way to the top. Hard work, humility, and support. His virtues are what he told me to take to heart. I hope I can embody these as I take up the flag that he left behind. I swear to make his legacy last. As the new CEO of the Hughes Property Group, I would like to extend an offer to Roman, Gordon's youngest son, to work as a manager for our company. Roman, you are a rising star in the real estate world, and I'm sure that your father would want you to work with us. How about it?
Hold on. I need to be making a note of everybody's names and their roles. So, Jonathan Reed. If I can type, that would be great. I hate, too, that it resets the font every time. Successor of... Right? That's the term. Yes. Successor of Gordon Hughes. Funny. And then Roman Hughes is the youngest son. Bold and underline that sucker so I can really see their names. Don't do that. Okay. Do.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But I'm quite proud of my current work, and I'd prefer not to take orders from anyone.
He sounds so snooty. I'm trying not to like pause too much and like, but I'm just like, the minute he started talking, I was like, oh, he gives snooty, he gives younger child. Voice 1 is Butler, voice 2 is Jonathan. I will say that typing on screen really shows how much I cannot type most times. There we go. I struggle. Anyway, okay.
One. Oh, I see. I shall give you time to consider the offer. Now I believe that Ellis, Gordon's eldest, is next.
Thank you, Jonathan. I wouldn't have minded taking that managerial spot you have, by the way. Yeah. Anyhow, you may already know me. I'm a former collegiate rugby player. St. Valentine University, represent!
Oh, he gives such a Chad.
The MVP awards and state rings I won, the successes I had, were because of my pops, Gordon Hughes. As a kid, he was always there, encouraging me to chase my dreams, to chase the ball. Even if he's no longer with us in person, I will make sure to carry on his legacy and ensure our family's success. Thank you.
His voice sounds familiar too.
Oh, Roger, you're up.
Hello, and thank you all for coming today. I just want to share some of my precious memories.
Pause. Godly, why does everybody's voice out? I need to know the voice acting cast of this game. So then we have Roger. I'm assuming this is because I do have the name of the kid. So we have Ellis, Roger, Glenn, and Roman. So I don't know where his position is within the children, but why is my notes not working how I need them to? Voice 5.
With my father. Back when he was still alive, he would often take Glenn and I out to hunt with him. We'd have loaded up the truck with our food, tents, and the guns. It was an experience. We were still young back then, but I remember the first time he... Sorry, it's just a little difficult. I remember that time we went... Thank you, Glenn. Thank you.
Sorry about that. It's been rough for all of us, I'm sure. I will continue Roger's testimony on his behalf. Our father would often take Roger and I hunting. Of course, we never caught anything until we grew a little older. Father was always there, showing us how to do things right. Often, we would have to only load the truck up with his prizes, but in time, we'd add to that pile. I remember Roger's first kill. He started crying. Yes, you did. Not because you were happy that you'd finally succeeded, but because you felt bad for the deer when you got up to it. Our father would then teach us the importance of each individual life. that deer would live on with us, and later, within us. These life experiences he gave us led us to where we are today. Roger is now a successful chef. I, on the other hand, am a lawyer for the state. After Mom passed away, Dad resolved himself to give us as much support as he could. This wasn't just in our respective businesses, but in our lives and our own growing families. I think it really shows. Wherever you are now, Dad, thank you. God bless.
So that means Glenn. Okay.
Thank you, Glenn. My father was a very successful man, like Jonathan said. Our grandfather's company was in the gutters when he got the position. What he accomplished with it was awe-inspiring. Like him, I decided to start with nothing as well. I wanted to climb the ladder with my own grit and sacrifice. I think Father appreciated that someone tried to do without. He was correct to put his faith in me. Roman Estate Co. is as successful as Hughes Property Group. Founding it was an endeavor, and to keep it running has been arduous. It's been like childbirth, something I thought only my wife would experience. Jonathan.
Pause. What? What a sentence that was. I just need a moment to process that sentence alone. What do you mean? What? It's like childbirth, something I thought only my wife would experience. I'm sorry. What is that? What are we talking about, dude? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Sure. He's married, though.
Then, as an aside, I believe that it's in my best interest to continue the great legacy that my father created, to continue his business modus operandi. I will buy out Hughes Property Group entirely. I'm sure I can find you a position as well. And that is all I have to say. Felix, back to you.
Thank you, Roman. Next, we have Gordon's closest friends, starting with Mr. William Darby.
Okay. Trying to just gather some notes here. He's an athlete. Then we have Felix. A family butler. He's voice one. And then he has his own testimony, or, the questioning. But, okay. Well. That is interesting. Oh, we got some lag. There we go. Right. Oh, he's a chef. A sous chef at Clifton's. I'm sure the restaurant name's not gonna matter, but nope. There we go. I had to remember what the buttons were. God, I remember. Can't really see because the lighting. I remember my dad's house had a TV this big, like this old school style, like when we first moved into it, like years ago. Okay. Dear Felix, by the time you're reading this, I will have passed on. This letter is an additional note to the will I have left behind. I have hired Staten Law to be an intermediary and supervise the distribution of the remainder of my wealth. This letter is to justify the thought process of what is to follow. Each son will receive points based on their employment status and the condition of their marriage or relationship. That is wild. Okay. uh if they're unemployed, they will be given a negative point to their overall amount. This is because I don't tolerate laziness. If they have any job in general, they receive 1 point. If they have any government job, they receive an additional 1 point. A middle management position gets an additional 1 point. If they're in a C-suite position or higher, they may receive 2 points to their overall amount. Marriage was sacred to me, as it was to their mother. If they are single, they do not receive or subtract any points. If they are divorced, they have a single point taken from them. If they are married, they gain 1 point. If they've provided the family with even one single male heir, they gain an additional point. That is, you know what? One thing, I do love my like stories and whatnot, but like the amount of stories I read where there's so much focus on a male heir kills me. I'm like, why? Patriarchy, that's why. Okay, anyway. Whoever shall have the highest amount of points will receive a 15% addition. Whoever shall have the second highest amount of points will receive a 10% addition. Third place shall receive the same. The final score shall receive 5%. I know that this may seem as an odd request, but my children understood my values as they were raised up. I'm proud of each one, but I always like to reward them allowance based on the chores they did. This is their final allowance. I know that you will follow my instructions without question, as you always have. However, I want you to know that with my death, your contract has come to an end. You are no longer required to work for the Hughes family, and I want to make sure that you feel no obligation. You are about the age of retirement, and I wish that you can live the rest of your life with your wife in peace. Therefore, I hope you carry out my last wishes, not as my butler, but as my good friend. Thank you, Gordon Hughes. That's a lot of. Okay, so this I'm just gonna say, um, reading of the will, and then will breakdown. So, okay. First place gets 15% additional, right? Plus 15%. Second and third get a plus 10%. And then last gets plus 5%. Point system, though. I don't even know what a C-suite, like, position even means. So, unemployed equals -1. Employed gets 1. Government job is +1. Position. Right. Or higher equals +2. Thank you. If married is +1, single equals 0 points. Divorced. God, having to track, there are 4 kids. Having to track the score for each is gonna be a nightmare. I believe. Which one's the lawyer? Glenn. He has 2 points because he has a government job and he has a job in general. But he loses a point because I believe he's divorced. Based on the fact that he shares custody. What do you mean? Why? Are you talking about because we're going to the buffet? That does remind me, Mom and I were kind of talking earlier about plans tomorrow. Because I hadn't slept today, we obviously couldn't do any celebrations tonight. Trust I will. But tomorrow, I know we have plans to go to the buffet. I think we said around lunchtime. But I was thinking we can maybe go out that night after everyone is off work or free. I wish I had my... I'm still working on the emotes for the channel now that I have those unlocked. But I'm gonna make one that's like the eyes one. Like, ooh, looking. I do wish I had rigging for that, but it is what it is. Yeah, if folks are down to go out tomorrow night to celebrate all birthdays all around, because there's so many of us that are back to back to back. kind of want to do that since I did not have the energy to do it today. Because I did want to go out. I just was like, I was drained. I had so much going on today. And then I needed to sleep because I hadn't slept. I think I was awake for 21 hours, 22 by the time I finally fell asleep. So, has at least one son. Another point. Okay, so that's the breakdown. Well, you know me, I got insomnia, so I mostly stayed up late playing Cargo Simulator. That game is low-key fire. I got it as a little jokey joke, but no, it's fun. It's funny because part of it too, like you deliver packages and stuff. And I swear the NPCs driving on the road drive just as bad as NPCs in like GTA. Dude, simulators are my go-to. This one is kind of a simulator one. I could give you a whole list. I actually have on my Steam library a whole, like, because you know how you can do collections. I have one that's just called simulators. But yeah, there's American Truck Simulator. Actually, let me pull it up. Hold on. This is so unrelated to the game that we're playing. But no, I have 12. And I think I need to actually update it and go through my games again. But I have American Truck Simulator, which is a truck driving game, Cargo Simulator, Chef Life, a restaurant simulator. I have Crime Scene Cleaner in there, which is technically not a simulator, but kind of is. Escape Simulator. And then I put the 2 House Flipper games in it because it's kind of, again, simulator-esque. PC Building Simulator. Placid Plastic Duck Simulator, which isn't really a game that you play. It's a glorified, active wallpaper. Spray Paint Simulator, Supermarket Simulator, and TCG Card Shop Simulator. I got so into it for a bit and then I like just kind of stopped playing. But that's just me with a lot of things. I'm trying to see if there's any other simulator games that I like have on here that I did not add. Oh my god, there's this game. I have the playtest for it and I can't wait for it to come out. Sometime this year. It's called Restory and it's kind of like uh an old school Japanese style repair shop that you run. So good. Um I just got a sound from my PC that something disconnected. I don't know what it was though. But yeah, I think those are the only simulator games I have. But see, I also kind of get Power Wash Simulator. I feel like I would like it too. Spray Paint Simulator's a lot like that. Okay, so we have, who are the kids again? I'm like, well, I done went on a whole tangent. Uh, Ellis, Roger. I didn't know what classifies as a C-suite position. Glenn, and Roman. So Roman runs his own business. Okay, hold on. So +1. Roger has a job. Glenn is a lawyer. Is Ellis unemployed? Is that what we got basically from the eulogies? Ba, 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 ba. Like he kind of talks in past tense and or past tense, and like, and then too he's like, oh, I would have loved, that manager position. I don't know. Okay, anyway, so I'm gonna say -1 because I believe he's unemployed. I don't need to do all these commas. I can just space. So, Glenn does have a government job. I need to Google this. Oh, wait. I was like, what is a C-suite? Like CEO, CFO. Oh, I'm tripping. Lord. Okay, but do I even have the ability to make polls? I don't even know. Like, I'm probably sure I do, but dude. I like literally just made these active and I haven't like actually like played around with it. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, I can. This, I guess I could do a poll for like who we think or murders, but I don't know. We'll play with it later. Ba, ba, ba. Okay. Yeah, no, I think let me see. What is okay, hold on. Do we think a sous chef would classify as middle management? I think Roman gets a +2 for like having his own thing. I'm gonna say yes. Oh, less will. Testimony. I, Gordon Hughes, being of sound mind, not acting under duress or undue influence, and fully understanding of the nature of all my property and of this disposition thereof, do hereby publish and declare this document to be my last will and testament, and hereby revoke any and all other wills heretofore made by me. This is the typo. Personal representative, I nominate and appoint Felix White. Hey! Love. Okay. Early in the morning. Okay. This one, Felix. What a common last name that is. Okay. I nominate and appoint Felix White as personal representative of my estate. If my personal representative fails or ceases to so serve, then I nominate William Brandon Darby. Disposition of property. I have. Okay. I was like, I felt like there was a sneeze or something coming on. I devise and bequeath my property, both real and personal, wherever situated as follows. Thank you for the follow. First beneficiary, any charities. Thank you. Any charities as chosen by Felix Daniel White with the following property, 5% of my overall wealth. Felix Daniel White as my close friend and butler with the following properties, 5% of my overall wealth for his hard work and for his good friendship. Third beneficiary, I'm losing Ellis Warren Hughes, my eldest son, with the following. So, okay, so Ellis gets 17%. Because one of the question is, among the money to be distributed to the children, how much percentage was each supposed to receive? Roger. So Roger is the second son. Speaking of Second Son, you know what's a game that I like loved to play back in the day, but never got to finish, and I think I was borrowing it from somebody, is Infamous Second Son. I would love to see remakes of those games. Well, not Infamous Second Son, but just the Infamous series in general. Uh, okay, and then is third. Okay. Roger got 16%. And this is before, their whole point system we got going on. Um, Glenn got 14. And Roman got 13. Okay, Jonathan gets title and blessing to the Hughes property group, of which he has likely been elevated to already. I have hired a third party set in law to supervise an additional layer to my distribution of the final 40% of the remainder 90%, which is this. Um, they have been provided with a document that would break down attributes that I value. These attributes are based on relationship status, being singled or married or divorced or looking, etc. Additionally, these attributes are based on employment status, being unemployed, full-time, CEO, manager, etc. Stat Law will supervise this final distribution and have a full list of desired traits. My friend and servant, Felix Daniel White, will provide additional feedback to Stat Law in their analysis of each of my 4 children. These attributes when analyzed and understood, will provide an additional 15 or 10 or 15% of my final 40 of the 90%. These notes being rendered and carried out are my will. I hope to note that I have had a long life, and I wish that in the next I shall be reunited with my wife. I hope the best to my sons and grandchildren. May they be fulfilled in their lives, and may they stay united as a family. I'm assuming that was the recording of the will that we got. Oh, that looks like Bad News Bears in there. Martha Hughes. Looks like she was into pottery. That would explain all the pottery that's around the house. I'm missing something else in here though. What am I missing? Can't go into these rooms. Amar, do you remember when Dad used to have a TV like this in his house? What am I missing in this big area? That was the funniest part, is the fact that it was like such an old TV, but we kept connecting, or like we had game systems. But yeah, that one up in the loft. What the frick am I missing in this area? I'll figure it out later. Well, to be fair, it was an old house, and I think houses like that are like built for stuff like that. The knives right there. Oh, that's to that. Okay. Yeah, guns and then bullets. One's missing. Okay, well, I don't see what else in here could possibly be missing. Do they tend to have balloons in wakes? Also, okay, we know someone has a child named Harmony and a child named Samuel. So one of them gets a bonus point for his son. The question is who? Is that the only wall damage? Someone was angry. I bet you one of those. What is that? Okay, hold on. Oh, someone died in here. What is one of the questions? There's a question that asks how many people were killed in the mansion. So at least one so far. Let me write a check mark for that. Someone's got a gambling addiction. How many cases now has it been that we've had somebody who's got gambling or an addiction of some sort? Hey, hon, I'm almost heading out. Can't believe my old man is actually gone. Don't want to be too sobby in this, but man, this hits me hard. On the bright side, I'll be rolling in the dough. Maybe we can finally settle down, just the two of us. I'll be in town for about 2 weeks, and this time I won't have to worry about having to constantly look for a job. These guys don't know what they're missing out on. See you then. Daniela. I'm assuming... Okay, so this room was occupied by Ellis. There was no points for just being in a relationship, right? He's not married, but he's not divorced. But he's not single either. But, okay, so Ellis has a gambling problem. The fact that one of these was sitting outside the room is kind of... Or outside of the bag by the door. Kind of concerning to me, I won't lie. So confused. I'm definitely missing information because there's a question about like who was under blackmail, and I have not seen anything that suggests such. Still missing something out of this room. Oh, Roman has a son. I want to say he's got to be divorced. Oh, wait, there's a phone that we haven't listened to. Or... Hold on. Completely forgot about that. fact that I don't have access to anything else. What is this? Oh. Was someone shot in the house then? I feel like I'm missing details still. Um, I honestly don't feel like Roger, that's the sous chef, right? Yeah. I don't think Roger killed anybody. If anything, he might have been killed. I'm assuming they're talking about Roman here. So, okay. Roman was, oh shoot. Roman, I think, was being blackmailed. Or he was gonna be the target of blackmail. Somebody else has a son. Because that one mentions Roman's son. Who else has a son? Oh wait, I was like, there was something else that mentioned. I find it interesting that I feel like this is Ellis's phone. Okay, so this 1492 number is Felix. Both these phones have a message deleted. Nope, wrong button. Eight, 9. Wait, those two didn't. I'm trying to think. Yeah, this has to be the older brothers, but which brother is he taught? Like, is mm, see, I'm sure he does. Gives Ellis energy. And considering he was struggling, I think he would be, and the doubt, like the can't believe we're doing this thing gives Roger, I think. So then Roger also has a son. The keyring is interesting. There's no blood. I'm gonna say 2 people were killed. Okay. based on the point system, Ellis was going to get the 5%. Roman was set to get the 15. And Glenn and Roger both set up to get an additional 10%. So that puts everybody at 22% for him, 26% total for him, 24 and 28. That's still, I feel like, decently evenly distributed. So 22, 26, 24, 28. Roman 2. I think Roman and maybe Ellis would be the we're missing something here because this one feels obvious, but there definitely was someone shot and then someone like beaten. I like somehow completely missed that he mentioned that Roger was a chef here. Um I'm still not over. It's been like childbirth, something I thought only my wife would experience. Like that was such a crazy statement. Um hmm. The suit gives it might have been. Who was shot though? Around 5:30 p.m. That's about the time Felix left, right? No, he left before then. I'm so stuck. I am like at a loss. I'm like it's got to be two, but I'm so confused on who the second one was. Um like I'm trying to like dig deep. I'm gonna reference a guide real quick and see if there's anything I'm missing. Oh, I forgot. He's also married, so that gave him 5 points. Sorry, I've just been like standing here. I did get this right, so that's... And then the deaths too. Zoom through the house. Someone came swinging from like... The question is who and why. So all four of the sons were there, but the guests had left. So none of the, like the Jonathan Reed and William, what's his face, all those people, they had to have left. So it's between the four sons. Now it's who and who got who. I feel like the victim of this scratch marks on hands and arms. So whoever the victim of the shooting was, who was dragged out of the house, was probably also part of this struggle that was up here. And given, you know, the damage that's done everywhere, the brute force of it all, and this sitting outside of this is what's really getting me, is like, did he, like, was that used? Anyway, I mean, obviously the statue had to have been too. So something tells me Ellis definitely killed whoever was in here. Trying to think. Did Roman die by gunshot or from struggling? I think gunshot, right? Because if he got into it with somebody here. No. Wait, hold on. I mean, I guess they would all be in suits because it's a funeral. Yeah. Okay, so this had to have been Roman who died by the hands of Ellis. And if the victim down there had scratch marks on it, then that means Ellis was the second victim. Dang, so he killed his brother just to be killed himself. But who killed Ellis? Also, too, Ellis's stuff is still here, so I guess that. Also, Jonathan's stuff is, or not Jonathan, Glenn. Wait, what? Hold on. Hold on. Did I just take a picture? I think I did. Hold on. Am I misinterpreting? I don't think Roger has a son. I think this. Well, we know for a fact Roman has a son. I think I'm misinterpreting. Where's it at? Glenn here, when he's like our own growing families. Because I assume that meant, oh, both Roger and Glenn had families. I think it's just Glenn. Okay, so I don't think Roman is the target then of the blackmail. So Roman wasn't killed by Ellis. But Ellis did kill somebody and then was killed. I'm assuming then if he's talking to Roman in the text messages, who would be the victim of blackmail here? Well, okay. We do know that Roman plans to take over the business. And if him and Ellis are like, you know, collaborating here on like, I got some dirt on him. And then Roman wants to take over. Do we think the blackmail, the person being targeted is Jonathan? The new CEO? But was Jonathan killed by Ellis? Or was it one of the other brothers? I would assume if Ellis is the one that was killed down here by gunshot, hmm, it would have to be. No one has any motive to kill Ellis other than Jonathan, if he's the who he has dirt on. But who did Ellis kill? What reason did he have to kill somebody? I just like re-looked at this freaking guide I had up. Turns out they completely changed the case. So that's fun. And they did note that. Okay, now I gotta go back and revisit everything. I'm assuming these... Ellis is still part of this. He's gotta be. Lord have mercy. Okay. This is definitely Ellis's phone. So the second phone was in the suit pocket of the body on the second floor. I'm going back to my original guess that Roman is the one who is being blackmailed. Because again, they talk about attitude, and Roman had that attitude of like, oh, I don't need, the family business. And actually, I'm going to buy it out. So maybe I'll find you a position, that type of vibe. The question then, though, is who was Ellis? Do I get it? I think. I'm just confused. And they're the three oldest. My son looks up to you. We know Glenn only has a daughter with his ex-wife. Am I right then, again, in assuming I think Roger has a son. Either way, it puts these two in the middle, so it is what it is. And also, too, Roger and Glenn are going to be the only two that have, like, access to this room. Interesting that they let us open this drawer for the knives, but a knife was not used in this crime. So I'm thinking it would have to be Roger or Glenn that killed Ellis. Well, there's 3 coats down here too. Hold on. And they said, oh, my game froze. All that running around. The phone, the words. Oh, I did take a picture that one time. The phone was found in the suit pocket of the body on the 2nd floor. This gives Roman energy if he's like, you know, a CEO, founder, whatever. Like, I'm busy with work, like, just leave a message or whatever. And like the other one being like, it's important, like, I need to talk to you, it's important. And we know that he's, you know, being targeted with blackmail. So whoever's phone this is was killed by Ellis. Because they were gonna tell him. Hmm. Okay, at first I said I didn't think that Roger would kill anybody. Because, you know, the whole story of Glenn being like, you know, he felt so bad after killing the deer. But honestly, I feel like if Roger were to do it, were to kill somebody, I think because of the relationship he seemed to have with Glenn, like he seemed closer to Glenn than the other two, he would do it in defense of Glenn. And if this was Glenn's phone that they found, that where it seemed like he was going to warn Roman about what was going to happen, and Ellis clearly was going to be the main one perpetrating the attack on Roman, but then Glenn interferes, then he attacks Glenn, and then in defense of Glenn, Roger kills Ellis for killing Glenn. This is a mess. Families, man. Okay. No. So this is wrong. I think it was Glenn, actually, and then Ellis killed by Roger. And the guide I had up mostly just tells you, like, what clues to look out for and connections to make, but doesn't tell you the answers. So, I think Roman was. Period. The achievement for this is just a question mark. Okay. Case file report. On May 16th, 2003, at 1 p.m., a gathering was held to honor the death of Gordon Hughes. Friends and family of the late Gordon came together to pay their respects and share heartfelt eulogies. After the gathering concluded, the guests departed and Felix left to attend to some errands. The only individuals remaining were Gordon's four sons. Ellis proceeded with his plan to blackmail Roman. Roger and Glenn were also in on the plan, although with varying degrees of hesitation. They all agreed that Roman's comments were out of hand and disrespectful to their father's legacy. Of the two, Roger was more willing to follow Ellis as long as his own two children weren't around to see the conflict. Okay, so Harmony and Samuel were his kids. So I was right in assuming he had a son. On the other hand, Glenn, after contemplating the consequences of their actions, warned Roman about the impending scheme, prompting Roman to leave the premises. That makes sense. Uh, Also, too, Glenn being a lawyer, like, that's just a whole mess. Upon discovering Glenn's betrayal, Ellis confronted him, leading to a heated argument that escalated into a physical altercation. Losing control, Ellis pursued Glenn upstairs, causing damage to the walls and furniture, eventually ending Glenn's life with his own hands. Yeah, I was gonna say there was no blood, so it had to have been like some sort of blunt force trauma. Overhearing the commotion, Roger retrieved a gun from the hunting closet, fearing the worst, and confronted Ellis when he returned downstairs. After Ellis confessed to what had happened, Roger reached a state of emotional distress now that Glenn, his brother and close friend, was killed. He snapped and fired one bullet straight into Ellis's head, ending his life instantly. That makes sense. The hunting experience, I figured it had been Glenn or Roger. Um, Roger panicked, dragging Ellis's heavy body outside before fleeing the scene. Dang. Brothers, man.
Which case file would you like to tackle?
Well, that concludes our playthrough of Scene Investigators. Yeah, wow. I'm like still can't believe it's over. And it feels so abrupt too, but like there was just a lot of me struggling and speculating and making notes and going back and forth. And then I got stuck. So then I needed a freaking guide, and of course the one guide I found had like like outdated information regarding, the whole case. So yeah, I'm like that just was a lot, but it was fun. I still, I don't know, out of all the cases, I still think the one that like gets me the most is the missing case file in episode, what was it, 2? uh but yeah, this one was crazy as well. It took me 2 hours to get through it. um but man, greed and family drama, we'll do that, I guess. And of course, it was all brothers, so that just adds a whole other layer. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, excuse me, fun little finale to one of my favorite games we've played on stream so far. Uh, I'm sad to see it ending, but it's been a real treat and a great way to spend my birthday. So I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Thank you so much for being here and either watching live or watching the VOD. I very much appreciate you. And with that being said, I hope you have a good day, night, evening, whatever time of day it is for you, and I will see you all next time.